Mrs. Suarez has been a member of the governing board of Matter Academy, Inc. since 2017, where she supports the expansion and mentorship of new Matter charter schools. Joining the Doral Leadership Institute board in 2016, she later became Director of Professional Learning, designing professional development courses for over 100 charter schools. And I know that many of you have taken advantage of those courses. Additionally, Mrs. Suarez serves as an adjunct professor at Doral College. She is a passionate educator with an unwavering commitment to educational excellence and belief in every child's potential to continue to leave a lasting impact on Florida's education landscape. Welcome, Idalia Suarez.
Good morning. I'm your ray of sunshine today. Are we excited? What a wonderful introduction. I hear all those things and I ask myself, how do I have time? But every role I have is one that I enjoy and I'm passionate about. And many of you have either been in my class already or will be in my class. So raise your hand if you've already taken my class. Look at that. Now you get to see me in the flesh. And how many of you are going to take it in the spring? A few of you. So we're going to have a great journey. So I'll wait for my PowerPoint to get on. There it is. Okay, first things first. If you have a phone, please scan the QR code. When I was told that we were going to do the presentation in an auditorium style, I was like, how am I going to make this interactive? Well, I brought in my techie skills, and we are going to make it interactive through a platform called Padlet. So that should take you to Padlet. I'll wait 1 or 2 minutes because I saw all the phones up. So guess what? You're going to be able to use your phones during my presentation. So I was asked to prepare a presentation for today. And I was like, okay, I want to do something on engaging students. If you've taken my class, you know that we talk about the true secret to classroom management is engaging students. But how do you do that? Well, that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about today. So next slide. Okay. So how do you engage students? Well, there's science behind that supports specific characteristics that you can bring into your classroom to engage the brain, okay? We all know there's short-term memory, long-term memory, explicit memory, implicit memory. What's explicit memory? Facts. We learn some history facts, we take a test, a week later, do you remember those facts? No, okay? That's your explicit memory. Your implicit is you learn a song and it comes on, you hear the first couple of chords and all of a sudden you start singing the song that you've sung for years because it's now part of your long-term memory. Okay, as educators, what is our goal? Is our goal to just have students learn information for a test or for a standardized test? Or do we want them to learn information that will carry them through the rest of their lives? Our goal is to end up providing all of our hard work so it's in their long-term memory. And we're going to talk about that and how that happens. Next slide. So there is brain-compatible environments that promote the sustainability of this long-term memory. And we're going to talk about them. And there's 10 of them. Okay, why is this important? Number one, it increases academic achievement for all students because there's no cookie cutter in our classrooms. We have a class of 25 students and they all different and they're going to have different needs. So we now have research that supports that certain things that we do will support all of your students. It also makes teaching and learning fun. Both of them, teaching and learning. We want to have fun while we are teaching as teachers. Because if not, it's a mundane task. And as educators, we have the ability to be creative and bring so many different things into the classroom that could be entertaining for us. That's why I love teaching, because it's never boring and it's ever changing, and I can bring my creative outlet and I can have fun while I'm doing it. And again, engagement decreases behavior. When we do this successfully, little Johnny that drives you crazy, when little Johnny's engaged, little Johnny's not going to act up. So we can have all the behavior strategies in the world, but if little Johnny is bored, guess what? Your strategies aren't going to work. So we're going to talk about what these characteristics are. Next slide. Here they are, okay? And we're going to go step by step with all of them, and we're going to review them at the end. And I want you to reflect, because the truth is that we can't do this every day, all day, in every single lesson, all 10. We're not superheroes, okay? That's not sustainable. However, there are some that you should be doing every day, and there are some that you will sprinkle in throughout your journey as a teacher. Some of you might already be incorporating some of these characteristics in your classroom, and check those off, like, okay, I got this. But like true growth mindset, you want to also focus on the ones that maybe you didn't know were strategies that can create an engaging environment, and try to work on those. So at the end, that's what we're going to reflect on. Identifying that characteristic that you might want to work on and incorporate into your classroom. So let's go through our 10 characteristics. Sorry. Next slide. Okay. So some of you are laughing already. Believe it or not, I don't like the show. And I'm going to tell you why. I started watching it. I couldn't stand the principal. I judged her so much. Obviously, I'm a practicing principal, and I was like, that is so wrong. But I can't help but understand that it's a parody, and it really does, highlight certain things that happen in a school. This particular clip is a great summary of some of these 10 characteristics. Can you play it, please?
I have enlisted the help of one of Abbott Elementary's finest. Now, come on, show us what you got.
What, here?
Yeah.
Here, you can get this kid. Of course here. Come on, teach us something.
Oh, all right. Farmer Hank has 7 turkeys. Then he buys 6 more. How many turkeys does Farmer Hank now have?
Is one of the turkeys pregnant?
One of my kids asked the same thing.
Because it's a good question, and it shows that they're using critical thinking.
It's irrelevant.
No, it might be silly to you, but to them it might be an important question that if they don't get it answered, they can't focus.
And diversions are an important part of learning. Otherwise, they're just memorizing.
Memorization is how I learn all the state's capitals. Juneau, Salem, Madison. I can keep going.
In my class, we do silly voice time to, break up the day.
And it makes learning more fun, too.
Okay. Follow my lead. Here we go.
What's happening?
Oh, come on now, son. Moving those hips a little, it is not going to kill you. Now, let's do this math problem again. Oh, what's the turkey farmer's name?
Hank?
Yes. All right. Hank has 2 turkeys. He gets 2 more. How many turkeys? Hank has 2 turkeys. He gets 2 more. How many turkeys?
He has 4.
Yes.
Or 6 if one of the turkeys is pregnant with twins. See? Who told you learning can't be fun?
So as we go through the 10 characteristics, I want you to come back to this clip, which, is a funny parody of some of these things that can happen. Okay, go to the next slide. Number 1, fostering a positive learning environment. You take my class, that's one of the first modules. I hit that one really, really hard because it is so important. It sets the foundation. Raise your hand if you've ever been told when you started as a teacher, do not smile until December. Wrong advice. Terrible advice. Why? Because a smile invites that other human being to know you are approachable. You love them. I love this. Smile. Show me I'm loved every day. Doesn't mean that you're a pushover. You create boundaries, but you can create boundaries with a smile. Smiling is important. It creates, and not just smiling, just creating a welcoming learning environment is so important. That's where students feel safe. And if students feel safe, they're willing to take that risk to ask questions, to be able to feel like they can make mistakes so that they can learn in this journey. Next slide. Okay. So, number 2, I want to take a little bit longer with this one, the power of visual learning. You're all very lucky being teachers in this generation. When I started as a teacher, I didn't have a computer in the classroom. There was no Pinterest. There was no resources accessible online for us to be able to show our students visuals. We had to make copies, buy posters. We had to do it the old school way. But visuals are so important, and now that we have the technology to be able to incorporate it more, this should be a non-negotiable in an engaging classroom. The research behind long-term memory retention is you will retain 50% of the information that you see. You will retain 35% of the information that you actually do, that you are actively engaging in doing an activity, something that your hands, that you are interacting. But you only retain 15% of information that you listen to. Now, as an adult learner, because I call myself a learner still, because like Miss Marty said, we should always be learning, which is why I just continue to add more tasks to my resume of things, because I love to learn. I've learned that, like most human beings, I retain more information when I see it. So as an adult, I can say, wait, can you show me? I need to see it. And I can advocate for myself. Unfortunately, most students, and it doesn't matter if they're 5 years old or 18 years old, they might not advocate for themselves or understand that they need to see the visual to be able to retain that information. So that's why as educators, it's a non-negotiable. If there's an opportunity for a visual, please provide them the visual, because it will help your job at the end to help the students retain that information. And there's so many different, and we're gonna share this PowerPoint after, so you'll be able to explore it more. But I love this piece right here. Visuals help all students. How many times do you hear, oh, it's in their IEP, so we need to go ahead and, or for an ESOL student, we need to provide visuals. Guess what? That's a great strategy for all students. It doesn't matter if they have a disability or not. And we have the technology to be able to do that. Next slide. Okay. Hit the video, please. That's me sometimes. In the faculty meeting, that I would teach live right now, I would start dancing too. You know, it's okay to be silly as a teacher. It's okay to take the risk and bring this other element. There's so much power with music. Music can make you happy. It can make you feel sentimental and emotions. But there's also science that's saying that music helps with the creative process and with cooperation and problem solving. Music can bring so many dynamics into your classroom. You can use it into a small group, but you might want to now use lo-fi, because that's the thing. My girls told me, hey, we're gonna use lo-fi music to study. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, isn't that just instrumental? No, Mom, it's lo-fi. I was like, okay. So now there's playlists that have lo-fi of all types of music, and during the presentation we're going to do a little activity and we're going to model that. But if you also want to, bring some joy and excitement into the classroom, don't be afraid to bring in music. Little Johnny also has a diagnosis of ADHD. And he has so much trapped energy in his body. If you bring a fast, active, hyped song, guess what? Little Johnny will have an opportunity to release some of that energy in a fun way. Everybody laughs. Back to characteristic number 1, creating a positive learning environment. And music can be a great, easy way to create an engaging learning environment. It's also great for transitions. You can say we have the length of the song to transition into the next group. You can create a routine. You can also say you have this playlist to complete the group work together. So there's so many ways that you can bring music. Just please be careful. Either instrumental, no bad words. We need to filter because we know that music today is, it's hard to find clean music today, right? So, okay. But I love music. Okay. Next slide. Okay. I'm going to spend a little longer on this one, because I think that this is, of all the characteristics, I'm not going to say the most important, but it is one of the most important. We're going to go back to that question at the beginning. I asked, when we teach, do we want information to be in the short-term memory or long-term memory? Long-term. We want a good return on our own investment of time and energy as teachers. But what is our goal with our students? Is it because we want them to pass a test? Or is it because we want them to grow to be an adult, that they have all this information to shape them, who they are, and the actions that they're going to take? We're creating adults, but we're in the process. We're in that journey. So this is the component that I think as teachers, sometimes we fall short. Why? Oh, I need to get through my pacing guide. I need to get through my lesson plan. I need to do whatever textbook says I need to do. And I'm not saying those things aren't important, because they are. But you know when the magic happens? Because as a teacher, raise your hand if you had an aha moment this year in your classroom that the kids, like, you see, they light up. That's the magic. That's why we become teachers in the first place. Because there's nothing more rewarding to see your class just have that moment. And we want more of those moments. But when we're just machines trying to get through the lesson, and we don't take that moment to say, hey, let's connect. Like, I can help them connect this with something that's happening in the real world. It is okay to take that pause. It is okay to have that moment for them to have their aha. Because when they do that, now it's going to end up in their long-term memory bank. And it's going to be part of them. So connecting to the real world is a very important characteristic. And one that we fail to do as teachers, because sometimes we would just want to stay on our script. So I want you to look at this clip because I thought it was, it really related to this particular characteristic.
Whoa, what's going on, Mr. Voss?
Biology, Derek.
Fair enough.
Can someone tell me what happens when a cell stagnates?
Okay, no one's listening to me.
I will try again. Anyone know what happens to a stagnant cell?
What's he doing on the table?
I don't know, something about cells.
Malia,
It's not good.
did you hear that? It ain't good. People, a cell that is not in motion is not a productive member of the system. It ends up assuming all the other cells are going to pick up the slack somewhere, but they don't. In fact, they imitate the stray cell until basically the whole organism begins to die. Yeah, but you know what? Biology is an amazing thing. And here's the good news. All that decays can be restored.
It's just hitting anybody.
This is it.
Like how a cut heals.
Like how a cut heals. Brian, my man.
Look, you got one.
And once that cell is back on track, it creates energy amongst the other cells. That's what happens. It starts getting a little movement going. It gets a little rumble. Can I get a little rumble from everybody? Everybody just rumble in your seats right now for me. Just rumble a little bit. Okay, no rumble, that's fine. I'll be the lone rumbler up here. That's what I am. I'm a lone rumbler. But then the cell starts banging into the other cells. And the cells push back and go, hey, what are you doing to me? They hit into another one. Hey, don't do that. Hey, that's my friend. You don't even know him. You don't know me either. I know you, we work together, because then they hit a rhythm. They all hit a rhythm, and this is the beginning of the restorative process. So now, even if the entire system is close to dead, what happens? Martinez, come on, give me something. Oh no, not today. Oh no, not in my house. No. Look out, here we come. Don't look up my pant leg, Derek. You're better than that. It's right over you. Come on, man. What do you say? If all the cells work together, what will happen?
The entire system is healed.
Exactly.
That's the
That is a
magic.
sick dragon.
He could have easily just said they didn't get it, move on to the next thing. But no, he allowed the time to easily, create a story, connect it to something that they understand so that they can learn and master the content. And that's what we need to do as teachers. It is okay to stop and do that. Because if we do not connect to the real world, that information is not going to be theirs. It's rote memorization that, guess what? After the test, they've forgotten it. To the next slide. Real world connections are making associations between students, experiences, content, and skills that you teach. Okay? And like I said, I wanted to spend a little bit more time in this because I feel this is a very important characteristic. Number one, when you connect it, it aligns with how the brain learns, okay? It's connected to science. Memorization alone isn't going to make that connection with real-world application, okay? They're just providing facts. We want them to be able to apply. It gives them meaning. There has to be purpose to everything we do as human beings, as an adult. If you don't know the purpose, are you going to give it your 100% all? No, you're not. We are wired to do what we feel has meaning and purpose, whether you're an adult or a child. So we need to provide that purpose to our students. Traditional education often conflicts with how we actually retain and use knowledge. Back to, we want to stick to those pacing guides that are important. I'm not saying that they're not. You can't be in Unit 1 when you should be in Unit 5. However, we need to also be smart enough to be able to apply and have these characteristics of an engagement classroom so that we can make sure that what we're doing will long last beyond a test or a school year for that matter. And then also understanding brain compatible learning helps us work smarter, not harder. And again, as human beings, it's nature to find the shortcut, okay? But finding shortcuts isn't cheating or finding a shortcut. It's also called problem solving. It's understanding the information that you need to know, apply it so that we can get the task done. It's not just about busy work. So this one is a very important characteristic, and we're going to turn to the next slide, please. We're going to take a minute or two to do a little reflective activity. So if you didn't get the QR code in the first place, I have it here again, okay? Raise your hand if you've seen the show Survivor. I stopped watching TV a little bit ago, but it was one of my favorite shows when it started. And I thought this was a great activity. So we are teaching children, but we also want them to survive in the real world. So I want you to think of 3 things you currently do in the classroom, that you learn in the classroom, okay? And then out of those 3, I want you to select one that you can take with you if you're stuck in a desert island. And then I want you to discuss how you can use that skill to adapt in a in a deserted island, okay? So think about what we do in a classroom. 3 things, and which one of those would you be able to apply if you are stuck in an island? You're gonna find a shoulder partner. You're going to do a think, pair, share activity, and I am going to have a little song. By the time the song is done, you should have already discussed and typed one little blurb in the Padlet of what you would do. Now, you can get creative and find a picture. You can add that too. Okay, music, please. Okay. So in a classroom, obviously you would give a little bit more time, but they gave me 1 hour to share a lot of great information with you all. So you would have a little bit more time. So if you're still typing in your phone, it's okay. I'm good with it. And then later on, we'll have a collaboration of everybody's responses here to these activities. So if you go to the next slide, okay. The next characteristics is rituals in a brain-compatible classroom. We just modeled a ritual, okay? In a very easy way, I provided a system to create an opportunity for students to talk to one another, okay? Using music can be a ritual, just like if you want to use a music for students to change and transition from cooperative groups. Systems are important. Rituals are important in a safe learning environment because when you know what's expected, you feel safe. Especially those students that struggle with anxiety, or they may struggle with impulsive behaviors, or they may struggle with just, you know, there's so many different things that students can be struggling with, that this creates a safe space to them. Letting them know what's going to happen is a great way to create that safe learning environment. Why? It's active and engaging. Students interact, discuss, but you're in control still because you created the system. Because as teachers, we are the worst control freaks, right? We don't take risks because we want to make sure that we control all the behavior. But the magic happens when you release that control. But you release it with a system in place, with rituals and routines that you practice. Designed to support focus, collaboration, and self-regulation. And structured with clear expectations and routine. You can have an active classroom and not be chaotic. You saw that clip of the teacher standing on the table, engaging the students, and at first they weren't paying attention, and what happened? He got their attention and they were all in. So you can have an active classroom, but it doesn't have to necessarily be chaotic. To the next slide. So rituals provide structure, consistencies, and predictability. Many students need to know what's happening next so that they feel safe. And sometimes as teachers, we don't tell them what's happening next because we feel like they don't need to know that, or that's too much work. But it's like you do the work on the front end and it makes it easier when you're teaching. The brain thrives in patterns and routines. the students see a repetition in the way your classroom flows, they know what to expect, and the brain actually responds to that. And engaging classrooms are active, not chaotic. Routines create a sense of security. And I love that quote. Routines will provide safety while rituals provide connection. Next slide. So here's where we're gonna do another think, pair, share, a pattern. You see the pattern, the ritual, and you're gonna see this throughout my presentation. I want you to think about one daily routine you follow that helps students stay focused in your class, okay? Because the role of a teacher routine should be clear, classroom procedures, behavior expectations, predictable transitions, flow and engagement, balance of movement and interaction, because you can't ask students to sit all day and then they're going to behave for you. It's not going to happen. And you have to allow students to practice these routines. So I'm going to hit the music, and this is lo-fi, like my daughters say, lo-fi. And go for it. And you're doing it in the Padlet. Okay. I'm curious because I don't have the Padlet open. Does somebody want to share really quick a daily routine that they use in their classroom? Okay, I see a hand up. Non-academic bell ringers. Thank you for sharing that. That's a very beautiful strategy, because what she does is she does a non-academic bell ringer where they can connect. Ask them what their favorite color is. You know, did you have a bad day and why? So she's also building relationships with her class. She's getting to know her class. That's a beautiful example of this particular characteristic. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, the next slide. So I'm sure you've known this because you've heard it, but then as teachers, sometimes we just don't apply it. Do you know that you retain, it goes into your long-term memory bank, 70 to 90% rule is 70 or 90% of the information that you reteach to others is retained in your long-term memory? Why aren't we using this as teachers more? Why are the teachers doing all the work? I tell my teachers, if you're going home too tired, you're doing it wrong. Your students need to get home exhausted because they did all the teaching and they did all the learning. We just did the think, pair, share activity, okay? The students were given the time to talk to one another. Also, you can have students teach the lesson. Doesn't mean you still have to teach as a teacher, but if you have the students the opportunity to then re-engage and teach their peers the same information, you have just given that student the gift of the ability to retain that information at 70 to 90%. So in your classroom, you should have students engaged in the teaching. And there's many ways to do that. In cooperative groups, they can be doing presentations, they can do think, pair, share. They can go up there and be your co-teacher in the classroom and you're just there, guiding them. They can also be peer buddies where you have one student that has, somewhat mastered the standard, have them go ahead and work with another student. But guess what? You can also do it with a student that didn't master the standard. With a buddy, and they do it together, and that sense of responsibility, number one, they're going to feel proud. And number two, you're giving them the gift of the ability to retain that information long term. Very powerful characteristic in a brain-based, a brain-compatible, engaging classroom. The next, go back. We'll have fun with that. Okay. Number 7, movement and learning. Okay? Movement is key. It is so important. If you've ever had a class with Lily Salazar or ever sat in a presentation, she's the queen of this. Hand gestures and movements for everything she wants to teach because it is supported by science, by research. Movement is key. And we have an ability to bring this into the classroom in many different forms. Okay, it can be hand gestures, or it could just be an activity that you have the students, even create movements for something that they're reteaching the rest of the class. Again, you can apply so many different of these strategies. But when you have that kinesthetic movement, it's at 35% together with a visual. Imagine now you're giving them the opportunity to really retain that information long term. We live in the era of TikTok and Reels, okay? Raise your hand if you're a parent of teenagers or adults, okay? And if you're a young parent, don't worry, it's only gonna get more complicated for you as they get older, okay? But they love these TikToks and all these dances, and they learn these dances. It's something that is hardwired in them that they need it. And then they learn the song or they learn the information and they learn these dances. And then here we come as parents and they come to you, hey, Mom, Dad, I want to do this TikTok trend. I was like, no, I don't even have TikTok. She's like, I don't care. I don't care. I want you in my TikTok. So go to the next slide because, we lost a bet. We lost a bet because this generation is all about dances and hand movements to tell a story. Please press play.
Say a little prayer for you. A moment I wake up before I put on my makeup. I say a little prayer for you while combing my hair now. I wonder what dress you wear.
I have 3 daughters. 2 of them are in Orlando, and they were FaceTiming us while we were practicing this. My husband is a teacher. He's a teacher at Somerset Academy, South Miami. And when I was putting this presentation together, I was like, this is how he teaches. He's one that connects to the real world, and he builds relationships with his students. So when my daughter asked, can we do this TikTok? I was like, babe, let's just do it. He had no idea he was going to be center stage. Well, he's been teaching for 15 years, so he has a lot of former students that now follow him, and they follow my daughters. In less than an hour, he had 1,000 views. let's just say he got to work and everybody knew about this TikTok. And it's just a funny way. Obviously, we're not going to do TikTok dances in the classroom. But why I shared this is bringing movement into the classroom will engage your students, especially this generation, because this is their language. This is how they're hardwired. So sometimes we want to fight the system, but how healthy is it if we bring the system into, our classrooms and use it to our advantage? Movement is the starting point for winning the brain for learning. Next slide. Okay, this is the other one that I want to spend a little more time in, okay? And we're at number 8, we're getting to the end. The power of high expectation in learning. The word belief is very powerful. If you do not believe in your students, you need to step back and reflect, because maybe teaching isn't for you. Okay? You need to believe in all your students, because everyone has potential. Now, it doesn't mean that we all get there at the same time. We don't all get there at the same time. But if you do not believe that all your students have the ability to achieve, you're setting yourself for failure. Something Miss Marty has always said, and I've been by her side for quite a few years, never worked for her, but she tells me what to do. She always says, no pobrecito syndrome, no poor thing syndrome. If you do not believe that your students can, they won't. And that has to start with the adult in the classroom. You set that high bar, they're going to reach that bar. But by doing that, you also are instilling confidence in them. Sometimes you have to scaffold them up. And we'll talk about another strategy that you do in the classroom to be able to do that. But this is a very important characteristic in a brain-based engaging classroom, is setting the high expectations. Don't water things down. They can get to that mountain. You just have to help them along the way. To the next slide. It's a great clip.
Listen to me, all of you. Don't use me as another excuse for why you can't make it. You made it to your junior year. Think about how you did that. Everyone in this room has a chance to graduate. For some, you'll be the first in your family, the first with a choice to go to college. Some may move faster than others, but you'll each have the chance. And you did that, not me. Now, I have one final project in mind. Yeah?
Miss G wanted us to put our diaries together in a book, just like Anne Frank. She got this businessman, John too, to donate 35 computers so we could work. She told us we had something to say to people. We weren't just kids in a class anymore. We were writers with our own voices, our own stories, and even if nobody else read it, the book would be something to leave behind that said we were here. This is what happened. We mattered. Even if it was just to each other.
We mattered.
And we won't forget. Miss G didn't promise it would get published or anything, but we could get it out there ourselves. She asked us to come up with a title. Something to call ourselves.
So in this movie, this teacher was in a fragile school. And when she wanted to read a novel with the class, she went to the librarian and they're like, oh no, that class can't touch these books. These are the books that they can touch. And they were all raggedy picture books, low expectations. And what happened is she's like, I want my students to read the book. And they're like, no, you're not allowed to touch them. So she went ahead and she found someone to sponsor and buy a class set. And in the clip, when the students saw the books, they were like, they're brand new. These are kids that were probably forgotten and had teachers in front of them that never believed in them. Had a school system that never believed in them. But it took one person to believe in them and to do something different with them. And you have the power to do that. We have the power to make a difference and to change. It's not easy. Nobody said it was going to be easy, but we do have the ability to do that. And when you instill that spark, that's where the magic happens. And then these children have the ability to enter a future where with a little bit more confidence and believe in themselves. I work in Homestead. It's not a easy community. And I have students that come and their parents don't believe in them. If we are not a person that has the belief in our students, then they have no one. So be that person. This is a very important characteristic of a brain-compatible, engaging classroom. Go to the next slide. So, great teachers have high expectations for their students, but even higher expectations for them. So for you to have high expectations for your students, you need to have high expectations for yourself. So we're going to reflect on a student. I want you to think about one of your students and how you believe they can succeed despite the challenges. Everybody has a student in their class right now that is showing challenges. How do you believe in them? Okay, how do you envision supporting them? Okay, you have your partner that you can discuss it as well. We have the Padlet. Please hit the clip. Gotta love Bluey. Look at Bluey.
Bluey.
Oh, it's not showing up, but it's Bluey
My
learning.
finger.
Okay. Move on to the next slide. If I would have more time, we would have more time for these table talks. Number 9, I think goes hand in hand with number 8, okay? And when I read this in the book, I was like, oh my God, that's exactly it. Raise your hand if you're like a video game player. I don't raise my hand because I don't play video games, okay? But I know that what draws you with a video game is the challenge, right? You know you're going to die a few times along the way. You know you're going to fail, and you still keep coming back for more, right? Our students are doing this. They know that they have a game that they haven't mastered, and it's hard, and they die, and they fail, and they lose, and they keep coming back because it's crack. I want to play video games. I want to play games. Well, why aren't we doing that in the classroom? Why aren't we challenging them to the point that they want that challenge? They want that drive, even though they know they're going to fail. But you can only create that space if you have created a positive environment where they know that risks are allowed and that failures are allowed, because that's where the growth happens. But have a high challenge, low stress. Where's the low stress? Don't just give them busy work and think that that's high achieving or challenge. That's not. That's just meaningful busy work. Challenge them in the content, in their ability to make those connections. Treat it as a video game where they're going to want to come back for more. And you'll be surprised, even little Johnny will, be engaged in your classroom. It creates confidence and success. Next slide. So there was another clip, but it was going to be too long. So I was like, I'm going to take what I loved about it most, okay? So this is a road. This is what we know. And this is what we don't know. And obviously in life, we want to learn what we don't know. And it's a long and winding road. And the longer that road, the more resilient we become. That is the true definition of resilience. Resilience lies in the uncomfortable, in the messy, in what we don't know. But when we get there, oh, how rewarding that is. And understanding that is important as teachers, because teachers have to be resilient. You have to be okay with the quiet, with the brain thinking, with the messiness. And students have to be okay with the not knowing, the messiness, the uncomfortable, since you're getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because the more they do that, the more resilient they become. Next slide. Finally, number 10. Teaching content in chunks for better retention. Research says that an adult can only retain 7 pieces of information, isolated bits. Why do we give all this information and then expect our kids to be able to take the test and know it? Are we chunking it for them? It is okay to take the step back and chunk the information, and then it becomes like a stepping stone to get to the full story. Feed them information. Be very systematic when you do that, and understand we retain information in 7 isolated bits. So if you're giving 9, 10, 11, they're not going to retain it all. You might actually be taking a step back. Next slide. So those were the 10. What is the recipe of a successful classroom? First of all, know your audience. You need to know your class. You know, what they like, what don't like. That activity that young lady does in her class is a great way to get to know who your stakeholders are. Be very clear. Set clear expectations. What is it that you want your students to be able to attain at the end of the week, at the end of the day, at the end of the year, or at the end of their scholastic journey? Create interactive activities. Don't be afraid of the engaging classroom. Mix it up and build in surprises. You can't always do the same thing every single day, because then it just becomes boring. Next slide is just the summary of the 10. Long-term memory involves enduring changes that result from the growth of new synaptic connections. These 10, you can't do them every day, all the time. That's unsustainable. We're not superheroes. But if you go ahead and try to incorporate as many as you can, and you sprinkle it in, you are going to be one of the best teachers in your building. Okay? Now, what I do want you to think is which ones you already do naturally, and which ones have you not even thought about or would like to consider to bring into your classroom. And I want you to reflect on how you're going to do that. But before that, next slide.
Phone numbers. We don't need all these. They're in her phone.
Just forget all of that, please.
Hi.
Forget it!
I need to find
Look at
Friendship
this.
Island.
4 years of piano lessons.
Yeah, it looks pretty faded.
You know what? Save chopsticks and heart and soul, get rid of the rest.
Are you?
U.S. presidents, what do you think?
Yeah, just keep Washington, Lincoln, and the fab one.
Forget them!
Hey, you can't throw those away. Those are perfectly good memories.
The names of every cutie pie princess doll.
Yes, that is critical information. Glitter Storm, Honey Pants, and
Forget them!
Hey, bring those back.
They're in the dump. Nothing comes back from the dump.
Yeah, look, lady, this is our job. Okay?
When Riley doesn't care about a memory, it fades.
Fade?
Happens to the best of them.
Yeah, except for this bad boy. This one will never fade.
Triple that gum. We'll make it live. The song from the gum commercial.
You know, sometimes we send that one up to headquarters for no reason.
It plays in Riley's head over and over again, like 1,000,000 times. Let's watch it again.
I know, we all know the song. Okay, yeah, real quick. Okay.
What do you think? Should we do it?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Yes, again.
Wait, do you know how to get to Friendship Island? Do you like it there? Did you?
So, as a teacher, wouldn't you want to be that one individual that creates that memory that's long term? That's why we got into this business, because we enjoy shaping and being a part of the journey of children that eventually become adults that will take care of us, right? Because, you know, we're going to get old and we're going to be taken care of in society, and we have the ability to create those opportunities. And as a teacher, you will become a legend to a student if you create those memories that become long-lasting, like that orb. What a beautiful journey that is, and what a beautiful opportunity that we have as teachers. So this didn't come from my brain, okay? It came from this great book. And if there's any suggestion that I can leave you with is buy this book, because it doesn't only go over the information that I just shared, but it has activities and lessons that you can bring into your classroom to make your engaging the brain environment. And I think go to the one before that, because this is the group, the slide before. Okay, so it takes 21 days to build a habit. You've all read that, right? Like if you're gonna work out, you have to do 21 days for it to be long lasting. But it's actually 90 days to create a lifestyle. So I challenge you to find at least one that you're going to try. And try it for 21 days and see how it goes. And then if those 21 days go, then go ahead and, you know, continue to implement that and maybe go into another characteristic. In the last one, and this is just a reflection, these are your two questions. You're going to identify the characteristic in a brain-based compatible classroom you already are comfortable in implementing. But the next one is you're going to do two. Identify two, but I want you to start with one. And we have a little music. I did this great, 2 minutes. And I did it in an hour. Aren't you proud of me? I'm proud of me because I'm not good at timekeeping. I'm good at timekeeping others, but not at myself. Thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you, those of you that are going to be in my class in the next couple of weeks. And it is always a joy to see my former students. So you know me better than I know you, because I see you in little boxes if I see you, or you're a name in Canvas. But if you have an opportunity, come to me. I would love to engage in a conversation. Thank you for the college for inviting me, and have a wonderful day.